Now it is, okay. Thank you guys, look at you. Okay, all right. So we're gonna be on camera for about 15 minutes, okay? But what we're doing today is we're gonna continue what we did yesterday. But yesterday we were on Edmonton, and how many of you felt like it's pretty difficult? Yeah, I agree. It is very difficult. You need to sit up. You're on camera, please. So what I decided to do was I'm going to break down kind of what you guys were doing yesterday, just so that you feel more confident about it, okay? So we have these things called algebra tiles that we're going to work with. In your boxes on your tables, you guys all have a set of algebra tiles. There's a few extra bags in there because some of the pieces have kind of gotten mixed up over the years. So, you need a lot of these little pieces, okay? And I'll explain to you what those are in just a minute. I did want to just talk to y'all just real quickly about what some of you said you learned yesterday. So I asked you to just tell me a couple things. Some of you did great with the 2-sentence requirement. Some of you gave me like one word. Okay, so please make sure that you're actually doing what I ask you, okay? Like give me a couple sentences. Okay, so this person said something I learned last week was the inverse, which is the one where you graph the opposite coordinate. Another thing I learned was domain and range, and then sometimes it can be all real numbers. That was pretty good. I can evaluate from specific inputs and determine the domain and range. And then I like this, I'm not sure what it meant, but x is greater than or equal to 0. They might have meant like which way you face your sign or something, I'm not sure. Something I've learned last week is piecewise functions, and that there is an open and closed circle if there's a line underneath. Let's see. This person said they learned polynomials, exponential, and logarithmic functions. Did anybody else in here learn logarithmic functions last week? Okay, we shouldn't have because we didn't have any of those, but that's actually a pretty good word. So, okay, this person learned how to use Edmonton and how to how the tests work. I learned more about functions and how to graph them. So those are pretty good, you guys. I feel like some of you learned some decent stuff from doing Edmonton last week. I do know it's hard. I spent about 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday working through what you guys did yesterday. So I do know it's difficult, okay? What I also want to tell you, though, and Braylon and I kind of talked about this earlier, is that that's kind of how college courses work. So for those of you who are planning on going to college, that's what you're looking at, okay? You're looking at a professor who's going to plan the whole thing for you and then send you to something like Edmonton where you can get your practice and everything in, okay? So it's a good idea for us to expose you to that. We're not gonna do it all the time, but sometimes we will, okay? All right, so your bell ringer today, you guys were supposed to find factors of a few numbers for me, okay? So I'm gonna write those up here. Let's just do, did I ask you to do -6? Was that one of them? -12?
Yeah, -12.
Okay, let's do -12, okay? Just because I want to show you what I was really asking you for. Okay, I'm just going to write them right here. So -12. Somebody tell me a factor of -12.
-12.
And 1, right? So -12 and 1. Okay, can somebody over here give me another one? Sanaya, do you have one for -12? What would be the opposite of the one that's up there? So she said -12, 1. Could we also just flip the sign to the other number? Yeah, so 12, -1, right? Okay, somebody got another one? -6 and +2. And so that means that we can go ahead and flip the sign on them. So then you would have 6 and -2. We got a couple more though, right? What you got? -3 and 4. Good. And then you just flip the sign on that one, so 3 and -4. I should have started that up a little higher. Okay, so when we are factoring, you guys, this is what you're doing a lot, okay? You're trying to figure out that third term, the constant in all the quadratic equations we've been working on. That third term, you will always be looking for the factors, okay? So the algebra tiles are a really good way to sort of let you see it instead of having to do this. Because how many of you were confused at what I wanted when I asked for the factors of negative 12? Were some of you confused with that? Yeah? Yeah. I knew that because a few of you came out in the hallway and asked me, right? So, so let's do it with the manipulative so that you can actually see how this works, okay? So I'm going to erase this. We're going to do these two problems right here. So what I'd like you to do is in your bucket, on your table, get one of those pink sheets of paper out, the ones inside the bucket, okay? One of those. And then you'll need a set of algebra tiles. Guys, be real careful not to lose these. They are so easy to fall on the floor, especially the little teeny tiny ones, okay? And I'm actually going to steal some from your... All right, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you just a few things about the algebra tiles before we get started, because yours are a little different than mine. So do you guys see how I have red and blue squares? Okay. You have a square that one side is blue, one side is red, okay? Let's talk about our other pieces. So these are your x squareds, okay? What shape are they? Square, okay? So x squared. The big squares are your x squares. All right. You guys also have your x bars. These are just x's, okay? I have two different colors, but if you look at yours is on the other side, so you just flip them over, okay? Okay. And I'll explain to you what I mean by flip them over once we get there. Then we have the little unit tiles. Mine are opposite because they're magnetic, but if you look at yours, and these are the ones that are super easy to lose because they're so tiny, but you have one side that's red and one side that's yellow, okay? All right. So the way this works is like this. If I put up a blue algebra tile, that is a positive x squared, okay? If I put up a red x squared button, I'm now subtracting one. Reds are negatives, okay? So I would be subtracting that. So if I have a positive and I'm taking away another, how many do I have left? How many x squareds would I have? 0, right? Yeah, good. Good, good, good. Okay. All right, so we are going to do this very first problem. Just one other thing I want to tell you about algebra tiles is that we're always looking to make a rectangle, okay? So I'm going to show you on this first one. We're going to put them up there. I'm not going to put them in a rectangle, but then I want you guys to rearrange them to put them in a rectangle, okay? Let me erase this right here. It's kind of in the way. All right, so you guys have a line like this on your paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this one. So we have 1x squared. It's positive, so you need a blue square. And you'll just put it right up against both lines. Okay. All right, the next one says positive 4x. Yeah. There's some in here. Let's see. Yeah, you'll have to use all of these, okay? Yeah, just dig in there and get what you need, okay? All right, so this is 1 positive x squared. Now we need 4 positive x's. So we're going to need 4 green x's. All right, I still have a rectangle, right? So pretty good. We're on the right track. Okay, and then I have negative 4 or minus 4. So we need 4 red small squares, okay? Okay, do I have a rectangle up here? No. Okay, so our goal, we have all the pieces though. Now make sure you have all the pieces. Make sure you have them all right. And what we have to do is we have to rearrange these so that they can actually give us a rectangle, and then we can figure out our factors, okay? All right, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to move these two, just turn them this way, okay? And then maybe see if these 4 red ones will fit right here, and they do. Do I have a square or a rectangle? I do now. Okay, so now I can figure out what my factors are. What's inside this box or this grid, that's your problem. Okay, so what we're going to do up here is we're actually going to put what forms that. Okay, so on top, the length of this would be 1 positive x. So you'll take 1 green tile and we're going to lay it right here. On the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Okay, I'm going to take 1 green tile because it's positive, and I'm going to put it right here. What are those green tiles? Do you remember what I called them? They're x's, right? So what is x times x? X squared. That's where that square comes, okay? So x times x would give me x squared. Now, we have a -4. So what are my factors for -4? Let's write those off to the side. Okay, so we have -2, +2. Okay. I'm sorry? -4, 1, yeah. And then we could flip that, right? So 4 and -1. And that would be it, right? Okay, so what we're looking for is one of these that is going to get me this -4, but that's going to add up to 4. Okay, I know that's weird. But, so what we're going to do is we'll take 2 of these, well, maybe, 2 red, they're hard to get off the board, 2 red tiles, okay? We're going to take these and we're going to put them right up here. Okay, because Mackenzie told me -2 and 2, and those are the only ones that would get me a 4, okay? This is going to be -3. This one's going to be +3, okay? So we don't want these. We're going to get rid of those. All right, so we've got our -2, and now we're going to need 2 that are positive, so 2 yellows. All right, now let's see if it works, okay? So we're going to actually multiply it out and make sure that it works, okay? So I'm going to do that right underneath. So this is x plus 2. And this is x minus 2. Okay. All right, now we're going to do the distribution process and multiply this through. So x times x, you guys told me was x squared. Good. What's x times -2? -2x. Okay. What's 2 times x? Okay. And what's 2 times -2? Ooh, this didn't work, you guys. Look, we have x squared, -2x plus 2x is 0. And that's not what it says, right? So that does not work. So what I think needs to happen is this. I believe that this is a +4. Okay, so let's do it again. And now let's change it to positives, okay? So that means that we would take these away, correct? Okay, we're going to take these away. All right, I'm going to erase this real quick because it's not correct. We'll do it again in a second once we get them all in the right place. Okay, we're going to take these away because we don't have any more negatives. I got rid of the negatives in the problem. Okay, so now we're going to need, we have the 4 x's. and we need 4 positive, which is the yellow. So let's switch it up. All right, so now we have no negatives in here. I need 2 yellow tiles to come up here. I need 2 more yellow tiles to come to the side. Okay, so these are my factors. This is my equation. Okay, so now let's write the factors again, and we need to change this. Let's actually see if it works this time, okay? All right, so we have x plus 2 times x plus 2. So x times x squared, good. X times 2, 2x, good. 2 times x again, good. And finally, 2 times 2, good. All right, so then we just combine these terms in the middle, you guys. You can't leave them separate, okay? You got to combine them because they look alike. They're like terms, so 2x plus 2x, 4x plus 4, and we have our match, okay? All right, so what I want you guys to realize is this is your quadratic equation, okay? It gives you what shape? Can somebody tell me on the graph? What shape does it give us?
A square.
No, not. What is it? Tell me. A parabola. That is awesome. Good job, Jalen. I'll be honest with you, like, those words kind of were fleeting to me for a long time. Like, even when I was in college, like, trying to, like, remember what I was learning so that I could get my math certification, I could not remember some of those words. So it's really good that you have. So that's awesome. Okay, parabola. What shape is a parabola? A U, yeah. I like a hand gesture. Yeah, a U. He did this so you could see. But yeah, it's just a U shape. But do you guys see these right here? These are your factors. Okay. Or what else can they be called? Do you remember on your paper yesterday? It was the word you guys could not find, and you kept asking me. One was zeros. What was the other? It does start with an R, yes. Roots. Roots and zeros. Roots and zeros. Really kind of interchangeable. I would say zeros is really the more accurate thing to say. And I'm actually going to show you in the TI-84 how you can find these easily, okay? We're going to do them by hand because I want you to see them with your eyes, but I also want you to be able to use the calculator because it's super important to be able to use the calculator. Okay, so this factor right here, this is what's on the outside. So this is x plus 2, x plus 2. Okay? All right, I'm going to erase this one. I'm going to take all my tiles away. You do the same thing. And now we're going to do this problem right here, okay? Okay. It's kind of nice up on the board because you can just slide them around and get them out of the way. All right, we're going to work the other way this time. So the first time we started with our quadratic equation. So we did the problem first, and then we figured out our factors. This time we're going to go the other way, okay? So it gave us our factors. So we're going to put those on the outside, and we'll build it on the inside, okay? So we have x plus 2. So my x plus 2. Okay, and then I have on this side, I'm going to have x plus 3. All right, so there is our factors. So I'm just going to walk you through how to do this. So I've got my x's here. So x times x is good. So we need a blue x squared. Okay, now I have x times 2. X times 2.
Oh, two.
2x, good. Okay. Then I have x times 3. 3x, good. And then finally, we multiply our units together, okay? So 3 times 2, positive 6. So you're going to need 6 of these yellow ones. And remember, you're always trying to make a rectangle. Guys, if you're ever working with algebra tiles and you can't make a rectangle, then what we're probably looking at is completing the square, okay? So we'll get to that in a couple lessons, but right now I just really want you to kind of see what they look like, okay? So let's go ahead and write this out. We have x squared. I'm not gonna FOIL this time. We're just gonna look at what we have. We have x squared. How many x's do we have? 5 x's. Plus 6. Good. So can you see how the algebra tiles kind of help a little bit? I like them. You can do a lot of different types of equations with them, but I actually really, really like these for this. So, okay, we are going to go to our favorite key in the calculator, apps. Then we're going to do polysmelt 2. Okay, we're going to pick number 1, and then we're going to hit graph. Okay, after you hit 1 and you're on that screen, it's your like your settings screen. Oh, you won't. I guess you can't do it. No, I'm kidding. I need to update this calculator.
Them calculators be bad. And yellow.
Hey, these yellow ones, y'all, these are super old. I just need to update them. I have updated some of them, like Mr. Powell and I did them last year, but they do need to be done again. Okay, see if that one works. Yeah. Let's see what you got.
Because mine was on the 301.
Oh, I'm gonna actually. Hey, y'all! Before you hit graph, let's look at that. Let's look at that screen that comes up on your calculator. Let me get one that works, please. Let's see. All right, so apps. Oh, what's happening with our apps key, y'all? Yeah, yours is good. I don't know. This one has it. That one wasn't even a yellow one. Okay. All right, so apps. Go down to polysmelt 2. So guys, you know you can arrow down or you can just hit the number. So like for instance, my polysmelt 2 is number 9. So I can hit 9. And then I want number 1. And before you hit graph, I want you to be on this screen right here. It's your screen that actually shows you all of the settings that you can pick. Because we need to talk about something super important. Yeah, so just go back to your main right here and hit 1 again. Yeah. Okay, so listen, do you guys all see the word order? Do you see that? Does anybody know what that is? Anybody? Mackenzie, do you happen to know what order?
How many, yeah, how many, no wait, hold on, no. Operations it is?
So are you talking terms?
No,
or talking...
like the plus and
Okay.
How many X's there are?
It's not how many X's there is, it's your highest exponent. So if there's a 4 there, so I actually want you guys to all hit 4 because I want you to see what happens. So hit 4 and it crosses out some stuff, right? It's because anything that's to the 4th power, do you see how it marked out things it can't be? Okay, so it's going to be in the format you need it to be. Now let's go back to 2 because we have quadratics, okay? So let's go back and make sure your order is 2. And once you change it, what happens? All the stuff it's back good now, right? We can actually access everything in the menu now. I would leave everything else the same in there. We want real numbers. You can be on auto or decimal. Either one's fine. Normal, not scientific or the engineering. Keep it on the word float Can somebody tell me what float means again? Jadeja, what does float mean? You forgot? Oh no. What are we going to do? Jadeja forgot. Do you know, Rihanna? Guys, if you're... It's your decimal places. Yeah, so hey, y'all, we need to remember that, okay? So the float is your decimal places. So like if, let's just say Janiyah and Alexis, you guys are entering in the exact same problem in the numeric solver. Janiyah, you're getting a whole number as the answer, but she's getting a decimal. One of your floats is off, right? Because you should get the same answer. So I prefer if you just leave it on the word float, because then you can pick how many decimal places you need, okay? All right, now let's hit graph. Okay, and this looks familiar, right? Okay, so all you're doing is you're entering in the number in front of the x. You've got to double check your pluses and minuses, and then you're going to enter in the constant, okay? So let's go ahead and let's enter in this one right here. And let's double check to make sure that the factors that we got are correct, okay? So in front of my x squared is a 1, so 1, enter. It's a plus, so make sure yours is a plus, enter. 4, enter, plus again, and then 4 again. So enter. You do have to hit enter on that last 4, okay, to make sure it changes, and then hit graph one more time. What did it give you? -2, -2, okay. -2, -2. So I'm going to write what we had. So we had x plus 2 times x plus 2. Why does this look different? Does it look like this? Look at your answer. What does it have in the middle that this doesn't have? An equal sign. So what I wanted to show you guys right now is if you're going to use your calculator, it's going to give it to you in this format. X equals -2, okay? But sometimes we need it in this format. So what I want to show you right now is how to go from this to what you see in your calculator, okay? Because I'm telling you, like, especially when you go to take your ACT, it might be easier to do them here and quicker, right? Especially since you guys know how to use the calculator so well. But you have to know how to change the format of what they give you to get the right thing, okay? So if I were to take one of these factors, x plus 2, and put it equal to 0, what would happen if I move this to the other side? X equals -2, okay? So this format, all they did, they took the factor, they put it equal to 0, and they solved for x, okay? So when you use your calculator, when you're in that app, and you get your 2 zeros, sometimes you're going to need to move them back to this format, okay? So if I get, let's do this one actually. So this was, let's type this in. Let's do this one. So let's go back to, it's not main, but you can hit main and then hit 1 more time. You don't need to change anything because we still have an order of 2, okay? So then hit graph, and let's type in this other one. And actually it's written right here, y'all. So there's a 1 again, enter. It's a plus, enter. 5, enter. Plus, enter. 6, enter. And then solve it by hitting graph. So we got x equals -2 and x equals -3. Does that match what we have up there?
No.
It doesn't match it, but is it the same? Yeah, you just got to know how to move this one and make it look like this, or take the one from the calculator and make it look like that. So if I want it to look like that, put your brackets, write your x, and then instead of -2, +2. Okay? On this next one over here, same thing. Do your brackets, write your x, instead of -3, +3. Okay? Okay, so we have done a couple things. We used algebra tiles to kind of go both ways. To start with the quadratic equation, do the equation, and then find the factors. And then we did it the other way where it gave us the factors, so we put the algebra tiles on the outside, and then we figured out what the equation was on the inside. Please make sure that when you're working with these that you actually always get a rectangle. If you don't get a rectangle, you just have to move things around until you do get a rectangle, because that's when you'll find your correct answer, okay? I would suggest that you check your problems in the calculator just to make sure that you've got the right factors, okay? There's no reason to make a silly mistake when we can actually check our work, okay? Okay, so I did want to just address our learning target just to make sure that we've done that. So the learning target again is I can learn to factor quadratic equations using methods I will learn while taking guided notes. That was yesterday. And then today I can learn to factor quadratic equations using algebra tiles. Okay. And then the essential question for today is, what TI-84 skills do I have that can help me find more success when factoring and finding zeros of quadratic equations? So we're going back to that same PolySmelt app. Okay, it'll do all of it for you. Okay, so we've done this, and then the last thing I want to do is underneath your buckets, you have another pink sheet of paper. Go ahead and grab that out. Hey guys, how many of you signed up for the ASVAB on November 5th? What's up, Dion? Yeah, good. Hey, don't forget, you guys, if you sign up for the ASVAB on the 5th and take it, I'll give you bonus points, okay? Like, I'll give you some test bonus points. Please wake up. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do a couple other things real quick, but I think this is really going to help you with what you did yesterday. All right. So we are doing the GCF. Where can you do the GCF in your calculator? Do you remember where that's at? 6, you got to quit the app. There you go. Math.
And then over to numbers. And then down to 9.
Okay, so math over to numbers down to 9. What kind of digits can you guys enter into this GCF in the calculator? Can you put X's? No, it can only be numbers, okay? So I would suggest that you use that app when you're looking at your numbers if you're struggling to figure out a common thing that you can pull out, okay? If you don't struggle with that, then don't use it. But if you need to use that, make sure you go there and use it. It'll give you the thing that you can pull out of all three, okay? So I did say that you cannot put in X's, okay? So we're going to practice those a little bit. So you have this sheet. I want to go down, yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah, GCD. Yeah. It's the same. In the calculator, it's GCD, but here we're saying GCF. Yeah. What's up? Yeah, so you'll have to quit your app. So hit 6. Okay, there you go. And now you can, I don't want you to use this, guys, right now, okay? You're gonna use that for a couple of the numbers. I actually want to do some with the X's. So let's look at number 18, okay? 18 is 81B minus 90B squared minus 27B to the third, A to the fourth. Okay. All right, so what we're looking for, you guys, is something that we can take out of every single term. So I'm going to look at the letters first. I have a B here. I have 2 B's here. I have 3 B's in this term. And I also have 4 A's. Okay? So I don't have an A in every term. Do you guys see that? So we can't pull an A out to the front. It's not one of the greatest common factors, okay? We can pull a B out. So what you need to look at is what is the maximum number that I could take out of all of them, but it has to be the same. Okay, so can I take, I'm sorry, that was the A, my bad. Can I take 3 B's out of this term? No. Can I take 3 B's out of this term? No. So I can only bring 1 B out to the front. So let's bring a B out front. Let's talk about our numbers now. So our numbers are 81, negative 90, and negative 27. Okay. And actually, when you put those in, I don't want you to do the negatives because we don't have a negative in each term, so we're not gonna pull negatives out, okay? We have a leading, this one's positive, so we'll just stay positive. So we're gonna do these numbers in the calculator. So math, arrow to the right once, and go down to GCD. Remember, you can only do 2 at a time. So the first one I want you to do is 81, comma, 90. Hit enter. What did you get there?
9.
Okay, so it could be 9. All right. Now, just arrow back up and get the GCD with the brackets. Hit enter and bring it back down. And just arrow over and let's change it. We're going to do 27, comma, 9. Remember, you do your answer from the first one and then your third number. And tell me what y'all get. 9 again. So we can pull 9 out front. So we're going to bring out 9B. All right. And then you're going to need your little bracket so that we can finish the rest, okay? All right. 9 goes into 81. How many times? 9. Good. We have 1B, but we took it away, so we don't have that B anymore. It's gone, okay? Now I have negative 90. 9 goes into negative 90. How many times? Negative 10. Good. I had 2 B's, but I took 1, so I only have 1 B left. Okay. Negative 27 divided by 9 is what? Negative 3. Okay. I had 3 B's. I took 1, so I have 2 left, and then I'm just going to put the A to the 4 right behind. That doesn't get changed at all, and then close out your bracket. That is finding the greatest common factor in a quadratic, okay? You guys had some of those yesterday, right? In your work that you did? You should have gotten that far. But this is how you do it. You're going to find the number that can come out of all of the numbers, okay? The greatest common factor of all the numbers. Then you're going to find the greatest common factor with your letters, okay? If I didn't have a B in every term, I couldn't take a B. Just like the A, how I had 4 A's there. And does that make sense to you guys when I'm saying 4 A's? Okay. It's not this. That's different than that, okay? So I'm saying that you have 4 of these guys, but we didn't have A's anywhere else, so you can't take them out, okay? Does anybody have any questions about what we did? Are you guys confused at all with the algebra tiles? No? Okay. Do you guys remember doing this before, using algebra tiles before? If you had me, I think you probably, if you had me for Algebra 1, I think, or geometry, I can't remember, you probably did a project where you had to show like one of these on the board to people, just because we used to use them quite a bit in Algebra 1. But I did think after seeing the lesson yesterday in Edmonton, it was pretty difficult. And honestly, it was starting in a place that I think is good because you got to see really where you're going with it. It was a lot more difficult than I think maybe that first lesson should have been. But you get to see where it goes, and then we can break it down a little bit to help you out. So here's what you're doing to finish up. You have this paper that I want you to finish, okay? I want you to practice the GCF. That's probably the part that's going to be super confusing to a lot of you, okay? So practice those, and then there's a note card inside your box. Okay, they're stapled. There's just one. So like we did this one. We did the front one, okay? There's 3 other problems that I want you to try on your algebra tile thing, and then I want you to put in the calculator and check your work. Okay, so that's all you're doing. That's the rest of the time. It's 9 o'clock right now, so we probably have about 15 more minutes, okay? Okay.